Why is this plug from Aston Martin 3 times more expensive than this plug? In this episode of Aston1936.com, I'm going to talk about alternative spark plug options for your Aston Martin V12 engine. So my car is in here right now. I'm doing spark plugs and coil packs, and I thought this was a perfect time for me to really kind of dig in and do a deep dive and figure out what's going on with the spark plugs and see if I can figure out an alternative to maybe buying an expensive direct from Aston plug. And since a lot of companies make spark plugs, you might be like me and be wondering if there's a way to avoid paying the Aston Martin tax and see if we can find something in the aftermarket. There's been a lot of discussion on the forums about this, about alternate NGK plugs as well as plugs from other manufacturers. So I'm going to share my 2 or maybe 3 cents with you now. So these are the spark plugs out of my DB9. I've just removed them. And if we come in for a closer look, one of the things we're going to see, and I'll probably cut in a more clear photo, is that these Aston Martin original plugs are made by NGK. And this is a PTR6E as in Edward -13. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So I wonder, is there a way for us to find an alternate or just go directly to NGK and buy this plug? Well, if you reach out to NGK, they will not sell that exact same part number to you. I suspect that that's by contractual obligation, that they can't sell the exact same part that they give to Aston. I think if we're going to look for an alternate NGK spark plug, we should really start to understand what all those numbers mean. The part number again was PTR6E. Well, P stands for platinum, and that means that the tip that makes the spark inside the electrode, basically, that's platinum coated. And then on the actual receiving side, there's actually a little platinum receiving pad. So platinum tip, platinum receiving pad on the electrode. So that's what the P stands for. T stands for tapered. And this is super important. Lots of spark plugs have a gasketed seat here. So it would be a square cut shoulder and a compressible gasket. The Aston spark plugs have a tapered seat. T also means it's an M14 thread. So this thread is a metric 14. It also means that there's 17.5 millimeters of actual length between the seat and the tip of the plug, because they make different length spark plugs that stick down into the cylinders different ways. So we definitely want that. And then T also means it's a 16 millimeter socket if we were trying to put this plug in or out. So M14, 17.5 millimeters deep, tapered seat, and a 16 millimeter socket. So we've already learned a lot from the P and the T. So the R, just about every new automotive spark plug is an R, a resistor plug. So this is a resistor plug, so PTR. And then the next number in line is a 6. So this is the temperature range of the plug. And what the temperature range represents is how quickly or how much heat the tip of the plug can dissipate back into the cylinder head. So this is an important topic because essentially, if you have a higher performance engine and you generate more heat in your cylinder, you don't want the spark plug tip to be roasting, glowing red hot all the time, because it'll start pre-ignition, it'll detonate early when the new fuel's coming in, so you get pinging. So if you have higher and higher performance levels in your engine, you may want to get a plug tip or a plug that's a step colder. So this is a heat range 6 plug, and that'll be important later to talk about. So we're a P for platinum, T for tapered seat, R for resistor, 6 for the heat range, E. So the E is a special design code from NGK. A through F basically, and this digit are not published. So I don't know what the E stands for. And the last number is the -13. That is the plug gap. These plugs come pre-gapped. So this is a 1.3 millimeter gap between the electrode tip and the grounding electrode. So 1.3 millimeters is about 52 thousandths of gap. So that's nice. All the plugs come pre-gapped out of the box, although you should check them. So if we're going to try to match up an alternative plug, those are the specs we have to meet. So I thought, all right, I'm going to start by checking with Aston Martin just to get another set of original plugs for my car. I opened up the parts catalog. There they are. They still sell that particular plug. It is an Aston Martin 07-85126. And each of these plugs is about $35. They come in packs of 4, but it's about $35 each. And when you buy 12 of them, that's $420 of spark plugs. So I thought, well, NGK just makes this plug. Maybe I can see if NGK can sell me an identical plug just with a different part number on it. And lo and behold, if you go over to the NGK website, and you can actually look it up, you can put in Aston Martin DB9 2005 Coupe 6-liter V12. They list the PTR6E-13. So all the numbers are exactly the same except the plug tip design. Instead of it being an E like on the original plug, they have a D. I suspect they're just basically playing a little bit of shell game, so it's not the exact same part, at least on paper. I'm guessing it's the exact same part in reality. But while I was on the NGK website and seeing that the standard plug was available there, they had an upgraded plug noted. So here it is. They actually list an ITR 6F13. So the I is different instead of the P. So the P has been substituted with I, and what that means is Iridium. This is the newer spark plug technology from NGK. And instead of a platinum electrode and a platinum tip, they now have an iridium tip going to a small pad of platinum on the electrode. So it's iridium to platinum. So that's more durable. It's a better spark plug overall. The other thing that's part of that is that the tip design code, instead of it being an E, is an F. Again, since they don't describe what a D, E, or F is, you can't really tell the difference. But when you visually inspect an original NGK plug to the new Iridium, they look essentially identical in every respect. So there's basically an upgraded plug for my DB9 that's still a heat range 6. So one other thing that I wanted to share about spark plugs before I tell you what I selected was Aston Martin has the higher performance engines. This is the 450 horsepower V12. This was the first generation DB9. They have 470 horsepower, 500 horsepower, and even more. In the later model, high performance, more powerful engines, they changed to one-step colder spark plugs. Remember, I was telling you that colder will drain more heat away from the plug tip to stop pre-ignition. So if you're going to jazz up your engine and increase the power, Aston Martin sells the pretty much almost the exact same NGK spark plug. This is a PTR7E-13. So the original DB9 was a heat range 6. This one's a heat range 7, which is one step colder. So you could go ahead and order these plugs from Aston. I think these are a couple of dollars cheaper. They're like $31 each. And if you are about to chip your car or do something to soup it up a little bit more, you might want to put in a colder plug to stop the possibility of detonation. But one tip here is if you just have a stock 450 horsepower DB9, you don't want to go necessarily fitting a colder plug because this isn't going to make your car any more powerful or do anything more magic. It may actually cool the plug tip off too much and you might actually have a non-optimal spark ignition point. So if you're souping up your car, you might want to go to a colder plug. If you're just staying dead stock, you might want to stick with the exact same heat range of the original plug. So just like I did with the warmer plugs that are used in my earlier model DB9, I went over to the NGK website and I put in a later model DBS, like a 2010, the higher horsepower engine, and lo and behold, when it came up, it also recommended an upgraded plug that was Iridium based as well. So that part number is an SITR7A-11G. So S I means a square-tipped Iridium plug, just like the advanced plug for my car. It has the Iridium electrode and the platinum grounding electrode on this side. It's also a taper fit plug, same specification, 17.5 millimeters long, M14 thread. And the R stands for resistor, just like this, in the traditional plug. It's a heat range 7, and it's an electrode design A. Also one of those things that I don't know what the A stands for, just like I don't know what the D or the E stands for in the others. The 11 stands for a 1.1 millimeter gap, preset gap on the plug, and the G means it's a copper grounded electrode. So generally it's the same general idea though, right? It's an upgraded Iridium version of the original NGK plug, that's 17-year-old design that was originally spec'd by Aston. So I know what I'm about to say here is going to sound like heresy to some, but what's motivating me is that the newer Iridium plug is about 1/3 the cost and is a 17-year newer design. I can't ignore the fact that there's probably been some design evolution in the spark plug technology, and it might be a newer plug that's available for a lot less money. We're talking about $420 for a full set of Aston Martin logo boxed spark plugs that are the 17-year-old approach, or we're talking $132 for a set of 12 of the newer Iridium plugs. I can tell you which ones I'm fitting into my car, which are the new Iridium NGKs. So that pretty much wraps up the discussion. If you happen to know what the A through F firing tip design codes mean, please go ahead and leave those down in the comments below, along with your reference source that shows me how you figured it out. Up here you're going to see probably one of my videos on how to install the spark plugs. Down here, if you like to get videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe. And down here you'll find a link to my companion blog article, which will have links to the references that I make, where you can get the spark plugs, all the models and stuff like that. So thanks for watching.